Welcome to our in-service. Sorry about the mask, but I did a check and I should be heard despite the mask. I tested with the microphone. Anyway, we have Clark here. He's going to talk to us about an opportunity we have, and then I'll take it back from there.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Well, it is your guys' open enrollment for the Aflac benefits, so that's why I'm this time of the year every year. If you do currently have Aflac now, all your prices and plans stay the same, and there's no expiration date to file claims. So never worry about that. So I'll be covering the information in the folder here. I know they're going to be sharing this video later. I'll leave some extra folders so then people can go through them at that point also. If you want to open up your folders there, the first sheet there just gives some of the reasons why to have the Aflac benefits. If you get hurt or sick, you have 4 major expenses. You have your medical expenses, paid for in part by your medical insurance, but just to have co-pays, deductibles, and those type of things keep going up and up all the time. Other expenses, travel-related expenses, just going back and forth to the doctor, putting gas in your car, your truck. That's a lot of money now. It's usually at least $3 a gallon for gas. Probably the biggest one there, though, is your everyday living expenses, your mortgage, your rent, your car payment, your groceries, your cell phone bills. Those things don't stop if you get hurt or sick. That's what you can do with this money. And then we can also do disability for you guys. You get hurt, you can't work, we can keep that paycheck coming in for you. The next sheet shows we do take your benefits pre-tax. The example on the left shows what happens if you don't take your benefits pre-tax. You can see you have $1,000 in gross income, your taxes, your paycheck. Then they take out your insurance premiums. You'd go home at $650. By taking a pre-tax, which is what they do here, you have that same gross income. They move your insurance premiums over there. What it does, it adjusts your gross income. Your taxes go down, your paycheck goes up. So these two people here have the same exact amount of benefits. One goes home with $25 more because we're taking a pre-tax. So how that equates when we look at the price list in a minute, the actual amount your paycheck really goes down bottom line is going to be about 25% less than what you see in the price list. I do have a little drawing slip in there. I'll have you fill that out at this meeting here. We'll have a drawing for a couple things. So I do have a talking Aflac duck.
Ooh, cool. I want that one.
And then there's also Chick-fil-A gift cards. I'll do a drawing for those when we're done here. And then I do have the price list there. This is a bi-weekly price list. Once again, if you have Aflac now, all your prices stay the same. In the past, I've always started with the accident policy because that is by far my most popular plan. But just because 2 weeks ago, I'm going to start with the cancer policy. Okay, our accident policy is probably the one that I do the most claims on, but probably the cancer policy, the most important plan we have. We've actually had this for over 60 years. It was the first thing Aflac ever did 60 years ago. Only thing we did for about the first 10 years of company. Reason I'm starting with this, I got a call from a lady about 2 weeks ago. She's had Aflac for many years. A year ago, she signed up for the cancer plan because a friend of hers got cancer. And she said, wow, that was pretty devastating for the family. I think I'm going to get on that. Well, she wasn't expecting to call me 2 weeks ago. She goes, Clark, I was diagnosed with cancer. Okay. So I said, well, we just need a pathology report, stating, what kind of cancer you have and stuff. I saw a week later, she had got that in. She got a check for over $6,000 from Aflac. Okay. She called me up. She goes, oh my gosh, this is a lifesaver. I mean, she's already stressed out about going through cancer and other kind of things. Now she doesn't have to worry about, it's a brand new year, co-pays, deductibles, all that kind of thing. It's high again, but all this money will go to her and then she decides what she wants to do with it. So there's 2 different options. There's an option 2 and an option 1. I'll take the drawing slips at the end. Okay. There's an option 2 and an option 1. Pay the same items, just the amounts that they're going to pay. So if you want to flip that one open to the 3rd page from the front, there's 2 pages of benefits to that. So that first benefit there, that initial diagnosis benefit, pays $5,000. Okay. Nice thing about that amount, it does grow by $500 every year you have this plan. So if you get cancer a year from now, it's $5,500, $6,000. That amount just continues to grow. So that was that initial diagnosis benefit that she got. She hasn't gone through any treatments yet. They're still working on that. But there was, that $5,000. There was a couple other things in here. That's why she got that check for over $6,000. Okay, it does pay very quickly, and that's so important to Aflac. We get the money too fast because things are going on. You don't need to be worried about your rent, your mortgage, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then it does make all the rest of these things kick in. There's things there for radiation, chemotherapy, surgical benefits, hospital stays. There's a $75 wellness benefit on here, ladies, when you go in for a mammogram, pap smear, that type of thing. On the first page here, it gives an example. Somebody went through a cancer treatment in Aflac. They got a check from Aflac for over $29,000. So you can just see how those things are going to build up. So this lady that I'm talking about, it was breast cancer is what she had. So she's going to have surgery and then radiation, chemotherapy, that type of thing.
I
Okay.
have an old one. Mine says 15,000.
That is option number one then, when you're looking at it. So there's an option 2 and an option 1. Yeah, so the option 1 there, you can see that'll pay $14,000 for that same cancer
Okay.
diagnosis.
Okay.
Pays for all the same items, it's just the amount that it's going to pay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Only question on the cancer plan, you just need to have been cancer-free for the last 5 years to originally get on that policy. But once again, that's why I just wanted to cover that one first, just because it's pretty, fresh in my mind. And, somebody calling me like, I don't know what I would have done if I wouldn't have this plan. If you look at your price list, you guys are paid bi-weekly. These are all per paycheck amounts. That's listed on the bottom of the price list down there. To cover yourself, if you want to do for an individual on the lower option, that would be $8.98 a paycheck. So by taking a pre-tax, it's about $10. It costs you about $8 a paycheck. If you want it, she had that higher option there. That's 18. Taking that pre-tax, that was costing her about $13 a paycheck. And then you can see, how that really took a lot of stress off of everything that she's going through now. Okay. And then you can decide you want to put on that. You one-parent family. If you have kids under age 26, we almost always add them on there because it's less than 50 cents a paycheck more. Or you can you and your spouse or your whole family have that cancer policy. Okay. So that's cancer policy. The next one in the folder there is our accident policy. Once again, this is probably my most popular one because anybody can get hurt by an accident. So that one there, if you flip it open, there's 1 page of the benefits to that one. An accident, basically something happens to you outside of you. You fall, you hurt yourself, you cut yourself. Those would all be accidents, okay? Let's say you hurt yourself lifting one of your patients, hurt your back or whatever. Doesn't matter if workman's comp is paying, we'll pay on top of that also. Okay, so there's also, if you end up being hospitalized, we'll pay you $1,000 that first day plus additional $200. So it's $1,200 to that first day in the hospital, $200 every day for a year after that. See how that works really nicely with your co-pays or deductibles? Or, hey, I got to pay my rent, my mortgage, my cell phone bill. You decide what you want to do with it. And then if something smaller, maybe just going to an urgent care pays minimum of $200. Things there for wheelchair, crutches, leg brace, up to $250 for those. Depending exactly what happens, she pays another $25,000 to $10,000. Depending on what bones you broke, how bad you got hurt, broken teeth, you do a lot of claims on that. Bite on a popcorn kernel, piece of ice, broke a tooth, falls into your accident policy. I typically see $300 to $500, how much you get on that. There's also accidental death benefits of up to $100,000. And then you do get a yearly wellness benefit. Go in, get your eyes checked, your teeth cleaned, physical immunization, flu shot, vaccine shot. Any one of those things for one person on the plan will pay you $90. Those are really easy to file. You don't even need a receipt. Just go to aflac.com or there's an app on your phone. Actually, if you look at the back of your folder, it shows here's how you can do all your claims. You can scan that QR code that can get you right into our app. And then when you do that claim, you don't need a receipt. You just type in your doctor's name, address, check off what you went in for, hit submit. They'll either mail you the check for $90, or if you sign up for direct deposit, they can put that right in your bank account.
Wow.
Okay. And then if you do get hurt in an organized sporting activity, baseball, basketball, soccer, something like that, where there's a coach and official, it does increase all those benefits by additional 25%. So that's the accident one. And that one there's listed on your price list. That's on the top there. If you wanted to cover yourself, it's $10.68 a paycheck. We do take it pre-tax. It's really going to cost you about $8. But the nice thing where you guys do mid-year open enrollment, you would get one of those wellness benefits. Your effective date is March 1st. It resets January 1st. So actually your first 12 months on the plan, you could get back $180 on your accident plan without even having an accident, just by doing those 2 wellness visits. So if you take that 180, divide it by how often you're paid, that's like another $6.92 a paycheck off. Bottom line, it's costing about $1 a paycheck to cover yourself on that accident plan if you did those 2 wellness visits. Okay. Once again, you can decide when to cover you and your spouse, one-parent family, kids up to age 26 is how old we'll cover on our plans, or 2-parent families, you, your spouse, and all of your kids on that one. Okay, so that is the accident policy. Here you go.
Beverly.
Oh, thank you.
The next one in the folder there is the critical illness protection plan. And what this one does, if you flip open that first page there, if you are diagnosed with any of those 10 items that are listed there, so if you have a heart attack, stroke, coronary artery bypass, graft surgery, sudden cardiac arrest, third-degree burns, coma, paralysis, any of those 10 items there, what we're going to do if you flip to the next page, we're going to pay you $22,500. You guys are all healthcare people. You understand, when something like that happens, you don't go back to work the next day, right? Okay. This is helping with all those expenses. So you have a heart attack, you get that check for $22,500 to help with all those other expenses. If one of those things happens again or a different one, it will pay $11,250. You can see there's coronary angioplasty is $1,000. And then if you do go through one of those events, you're definitely going to be doing some of these therapies. It pays $125 for each of those. There's an ambulance benefit up to $2,000. And then there's also a benefit down there for intensive care. So if you would end up in intensive care for any reason, accident or a sickness, doesn't have to be one of those 10 items there, we'll pay $800 a day, days 1 through 7, $1,300 a day, 8 through 15. And all of Aflac plans pay right on top of any of your medical insurance. We don't care what they're paying. This money goes to you, and then you decide what you want to do with it.
Right.
Okay. And here it just gives an example. Somebody went through one of those events. They get, about $30,000 on that one. That one there does play your age category. So let's say you're 35 right now. If you wanted to sign up for yourself, that would be $7.80 a paycheck. Everything is priced individually, so you can pick and choose your own situation. Taking that pre-tax, it's probably really going to be about $5 a paycheck. When you turn 36, 46, or 56, your price doesn't change. Once you've locked in at a rate, you're going to stay exactly at that. You never have to worry about the rates going up, or your rates are not going to go up depending on how many claims you do with us either. I've been with Aflac for over 22 years. I've never gone into a group saying, oh, by the way, your rates just went up. No, once you lock in at a rate, you stay exactly at that, and we're not going to deny you if you do too many claims either.
Okay. I missed the first part. Did you say that how much money we have to be making with this company to qualify for this? Or
No, you don't. Just have to make enough a week to have it come out of your paycheck, so it doesn't matter.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can be part-time or something, that's fine also. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to cover is a short-term disability. I'm not going to go through that brochure. I'm actually just going to have you look at the second page of the price list. This one here, you do need to be working at least 19 more hours a week for the short-term disability one. This is the only one that has that
You have to,
qualification.
how many hours?
19 or more
19.
to qualify for the disability one.
Okay.
And short-term disability is paycheck insurance. Something happens to you, can't work, we can keep that paycheck coming in for you. So if you look at the second page of the price list there, there's two different options. The first one there where it says 07 means it starts on the first day of an off-the-job accident, 7th day of a sickness. It's if you take the price list here, it's the second page of that.
I
You
didn't
can see it on the
in
top of
there.
your phone. You've got it there in your hand.
This.
Yep.
That thing I've got in my hand. Sorry.
Yep. Means it would start on the first day of an off-the-job accident, 7th day of a sickness. The second paragraph starts on the first day of an off-the-job accident, 14th day of a sickness. So you decide how soon you'd want that benefit to kick in. Say, hey, maybe I got a week of sick time, week of vacation. And then after that, hey, I need that paycheck to continue on. So how you read the chart here, you're just going to look at your yearly income. I'm just going to pick the first column to make it easy. Let's say you make $16,000 a year. Your monthly benefit would be $800. We pay that for either 3 or 6 months. You decide how long you want us to pay this, okay? Actually, since I was mentioning that lady earlier with the cancer, she does actually have the short-term disability. So we're not sure, how long she's going to be off, but, then that's going to make this kick in here too to replace her paycheck when she can't work. This chart goes up to $34,000 a year income with a $1,700 a month benefit. I can make that benefit go up to $4,000 a month depending on what you make. So let's say you make $40,000 a year, just double the $20,000 category, that's where you would fall, okay? But you can pick the amount of benefit that you want. Let's say you made $34,000, you qualified for the $1,700. Said, hey, Clark, I can get by with $1,500 a month. That'd pay my rent or my mortgage. You can pick whatever amount you qualify for or less on the disability. This is also one that we do for anybody who's planning on having a baby. Really popular in Utah. Okay. On the maternity, the baby cannot be born within 10 months of the effective date. So I say, get on the plan, wait at least 2 months before you start trying, and then it works out great. Okay. You can't be pregnant already. And it does not fall into the accident policy either. Some people say, well, I got pregnant by accident. No, that doesn't work that way. So. Okay. Any questions for me? Perfect. Go ahead and fill your little drawing slip out. I will check back with you guys later this week. If you're checking anything off, you're not signing up for anything. It just when I give you guys a call, just want to make sure I'm taking care of you guys, and then I can take care of this stuff over the phone with you. Okay. All right, thank you. And then for anybody on the video, I am leaving some extra folders so then she can pass those out. And then I won't have your information to follow up with you. So please give me a call. My card's in the folder there. Give me a call by, probably the Monday before the end of the month. So like within the next week or so here for sure, because your benefits will be effective March 1st. So that's coming up here pretty quick. Okay.
Okay, I've got most of these for you. Thank you. Just one more.
Okay, well, let's see. So I have the duck and I have a Chick-fil-A gift card. So let's see who wins one of those first. I'm going to have you pick.
I'll close my eyes.
Who we got?
Kathy Young.
Kathy? That's you. Did you want the Chick-fil-A gift card or want the duck? Okay, and then this will be for the duck.
Angela Johnson.
Oh my goodness.
Right there.
You get a duck.
Talking duck. Thank
Duck
you.
and duck. There you go. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank
And then
you.
I guess you can
I do get to take that back. Thank you.
walk over.
And we have a Krispy Kreme.
Okay.
for
should we do
you.
that for that?
No, this is for you personally. It's a thank you for coming.
Well, that's so nice. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
we appreciate you coming.
Gotta drive for those guys.
Heck no, no. We do have a drawing for you guys. You've all put your name in the thing. All right. Can I get you to be in charge of this if anyone's making any comments or something in order to be heard on the video? Then we. Oh, thank you. All right.
Should we leave the folders down here if you're having a meeting down here?
Yes, that would make some sense. Maybe not a lot, but okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that information. And yeah, just leave as many as
How many did you want? How many was you got? I brought my
yeah. We have 70
Okay.
plus employees, so we can take everything you've got, and then we can get it back to you if nobody.
So it seems to me that the main niche of Aflac is to cover out-of-pocket expenses.
Out of pocket or your mortgage, your rent, your car payment, any of those type of things, Because anybody that's gone through any kind of medical thing, you realize like, hey, there's a lot of expenses that are not covered by medical insurance, whether it's copays or deductibles or other things, and that's what we help with.
So you guys typically don't care what our other insurance is.
Not at all.
And so even if it was like Medicaid, most of those things are being paid for.
Yeah.
So,
If your kids are on Medicaid, we're not supposed to cover them. Okay,
Oh.
that's- yeah.
oh, okay. All right.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming. It usually comes once a year, so if you're like, I don't want to this year, but you're still with us next year, you can. I've been listening to him for 5 years and still haven't signed up. How pathetic is that? Okay. Actually, I haven't. That's not exactly true, but. All right. First of all, I want you to pay attention to our upcoming. This one, I know for sure the date won't change, which means neither will this one. The other ones are a little more fluid depending on, well, actually, these two are set. But I'm waiting to hear back, and I'm hoping for the 19th. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you come on a Wednesday at noon or 2, this is the dates. If you come on a Thursday at 10 or 3, these are the dates. Does that make sense? You guys are all giving me a look.
If you got a presenter coming, you have to work with their schedule, right?
Exactly. And that's what I'm waiting for with this one. I'm waiting for them to tell me what they can do. Okay. All right. I'm touching things with this glove that you might touch. This is my personal stuff. All right, except I might have just lied. Today we're going to talk about doing some cleaning because, because that's okay if we do that. Secondly, there's things here. At the end, we'll scan the recorder over it so that people online can get them, but they're just little cleaning tips that you know, there's always, are you guys warm enough?
No.
No? Come and sit right here. And I'm going to move this to right here. So come and feel free. Just come and sit right there. Because otherwise I'm going to run into it. Cleaning is something we do on just about all our shifts, right? And a lot of us that are moms, which is all of us here, we're like, I've been cleaning for years. But I kind of laugh at my daughter who is, she's very clean. Her house is a lot cleaner than mine. But right after she moved out of the house, she asked me how often I clean this out. Okay, do you recognize this? This is what is your food disposal. And the food goes down there. Some of them, these will come out and some don't. But if you ever clean the bottom of these, my daughter never had. And she finally, I guess somehow she managed to scoop something and saw just how gross it was. And she's like, how often do you clean yours? And I said, every time I do the dishes. And she's like, really? I'm like, oh yeah. It gets moldy. It gets more than mold. It gets gross stuff stuck on it. That then is just, oh, sorry, I need to turn off my phone. Anyway, it gets on this. How about we just close the door? Or I just turn off my phone.
Oh, whatever.
Okay. And we'll close the door. How about that? Watch your thing. All right, sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, so one of the things I want to talk about is, so when I do shifts, I'm filling in for people that aren't there. So I'm going to some of the shifts of people you see regularly, and I'm there once a year or something like that. And when I go, I always clean this. And a lot of times I find them really gross. So nothing against you per se. I just want to bring it to your attention. The ones that don't come out, you can still get in there. I do it with a very soapy dish rag, but that's gross for a lot of people and dangerous because they're afraid. But you can soap this up real good and you can get under and just try to get everything out that you can. You can also use something like this. Now, I took this from our sink to kind of just show you just how ugly and gross they get after a while. And these are one of the worst things of germs in your kitchen, unless you put them in your dishwasher regularly. So, you can put them in your washing machine, but this will fall apart and get all over your clothes. So, dishwasher. You can also put this in your dishwasher to get it sanitized often. So, even the things that we use to clean can help spread things if we're not being careful. I watched a thing on 2020 years and years ago. They went to 3 different homes and they spread that Lumisol, whatever, that when you put in a black light, then it lights up. And they spread it around the kitchen a little bit. And then they had the ladies clean to see if they got it up. And then when they were done, then they put on the black light to see how well they had done. Well, the lady who was adamant that her home was spotless had it everywhere. It was all over the place. She'd spread it around to other things instead of just the one place a couple of places they put it. And it was because of the rag she was using. The rag had this stuff on it and she wasn't cleaning it out well enough to get it off to actually be cleaning the stuff off. She was just spreading more and more around. So, no matter what we're using as a cleaning tool, we need to make sure that we think about, are our tools clean? are they sanitary? And they only are if we're actively doing something. If we just go clean the toilet, rinse out that thing a little bit, and then stick it back in the holder, and then it sits there, you didn't do anything to disinfect it. You didn't do anything to, I mean, you made it so it looked okay, but we all know that looks can be very deceiving. So I wanted to mention those few things. If you've ever taken a microbiology class, you throw these away and don't use them. Unless you consciously stick them in your dishwasher a lot. All right. You got stuff like this? Yes, sir. Yes, you did. You probably want them back. Hey, we've got something for that. We can help you with that. All right. I like these because they're thin. Because not only do you need to clean these out on a regular basis, but guess what? You also need to do the same thing with this. Now this one doesn't come down. So the only way you're going to clean in there is how? Do any of you have tricks? How you disinfect this?
I soak it in bleach.
You soak it in bleach. Okay. I hadn't thought of that. That's smart. Okay. The problem is when it's pushed in your sink and it's right up against it, there aren't any holes here to make sure the water can get. So if you're doing bleach, you got to make sure that you don't have it in straight. You got to make sure that it's open as much as possible so you can get it up there.
Gets clean in the
Yeah.
when I'm done.
Yeah. So it would have to be something thinner than this.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually use a dish rag and I just shove it in and work it around.
I have a collection of old toothbrushes. I put a rubber band on them so I don't accidentally put them in my mouth.
Oh, smart.
And they sit in a jar, and then when I'm done with them, I throw them in the dishwasher.
Okay. Can you say that one more time? Because,
sorry.
well, it's just on the recording, they won't have heard you.
Oh, okay. I just have a collection of old toothbrushes. When I'm done with them, I run them through the dishwasher. I put a rubber band on them so I know that they're
Not to be
used, and then I use them for cleaning little crevices and places like that. And you can spray them with bleach if you wanted to, the actual toothbrush,
Smart.
and let it go. So that gives toothbrush a second life and kind of gets in the little cracks too. And then throw it in the dishwasher or whatever when you're done.
Smart. Thank you.
And you can use a barbicide too.
A barb. Say that one more time.
The barbicide.
Oh, okay. And is
You
that a
can-
spray or?
You can get it in a bottle at Sally's in the gallon, and you
Oh,
have to dilute
okay.
it.
What they
and-
use for
Yeah.
the hair when you go to a hair salon. The
Yes,
stuff they're putting in.
exactly that.
You said barbicide, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I know that word, but I wasn't. Okay, so you're
It's
talking
that
about going
exact-
to.
Yes.
Oh, that's
It
cool.
even kills the HIV virus.
Okay,
Mhm.
so you could actually just stick this in a bowl that had the barbicide in it,
Yes,
and it will get to it.
it will get sanitized. Exactly.
Hey, we're learning good stuff here, guys. Okay, I prefer the ones like this because then it comes down
Mhm.
and you're able to go ahead and clean around here. So when I was getting stuff, I started about a month ago collecting my stuff, and I ordered and it came with 2, and so I went ahead and put one in this sink in here because all of us come in and we dump stuff out and stuff, but not all of us rinse and make sure that everything they just dumped in actually goes down the drain. And some things have stuck that I have tried. I tried actually over a couple of days of trying to soak it for a little bit and then scrubbing and then soaking more to get it actually off the part of the sink. Because anyway, I don't know. But so I put one of these in there. Will you go get the one that's on there for me, please? So this is nice and clean because we haven't used it yet. But
Just the way it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
what good would it do otherwise? Okay, so I put this in about a month ago, and I haven't done anything with it because I figure, hey, I'm not the one that dumps anything in the sink. So I've just left it the way and nobody's bothered to clean that out.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of stuck on there, right? And it's hard to soak it in something unless you get it into a bowl, right? Because the water's just going to go through. Anyway, so, but you can get mold everywhere. So it just needs to be cleaned on a regular basis. Things that, especially all of you here are moms and you've been out of school now for quite a while, and you're not just coming from your mom's home and just now figuring out all the stuff your mom actually did that you didn't know she did, like cleaning these. But we do have a lot of caregivers who are just out of their mom's home and are here going to college and maybe haven't thought about cleaning some of these things. So I also wanted to share a trick, and I put this here to make me remember. Another trick is when you're doing disinfecting toilets. So if you use a disinfectant rag, which this is not high quality necessarily, but it's what I have here. These are great, right? You can disinfect doorknobs and light switches. You can do the whole outside of the toilet thing. But the problem is if you use this first, then all the dust and hair and whatever might be on there in addition to the germs gets clogged up in there, and then I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you, but you spend most of your time trying to wipe off the dust that's now wet, and this just slides it around. It doesn't really let you pick it up and be done with it. And by the time you're done actually cleaning that part off, the 3 minutes that this needs to stay wet doesn't work because it's no longer as moist as it needs to be. But if you'll wipe all the dust and hair from, you know how toilets get, right? I mean, we don't need to talk about how toilets get. Lots of hair. Anyway, if you'll take all of that off and get rid of all that dust and hair and other stuff, then when you do this, then it stays wet. And it will stay wet for that 3 minutes it needs to actually disinfect. Because this really only works, I mean, it says, yeah, it takes 99.9%, but what does it have to do in order to actually work? For best results, let's see. La, 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 la. And of course, this isn't good. This is just a cheap one. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on here that says how long it has to be wet. Okay, this is a cheap knockoff, but the other ones, they'll tell you it has to be, it's at least 3 minutes that it needs to stay wet on the surface. So that's just a little trick that I use because I really don't like to clean and I would rather do it really easy. So that's the way I do it. Do any of you use anything like this to try to clean anything?
I used it, but now they have the electric one, you know,
Ah, I haven't seen the electric.
like the furniture, the couch.
Oh, uh-huh. Okay. Well, what I like to do is, like, if I've just had a family dinner and I've had a bunch of kids over and they're always messy, right? Oh, wow. This is different than the ones I usually get. What I like to do is roll this on the table after I've wiped it Oh my gosh, that's stickier than snot. I rub it on the table and well, I have a plastic cover, so it's not actually on my table wood, but I go like this and I gather up all the little tiny crumbs that otherwise I've missed and throw it away. And then I go back and I give it a good washing because now I know I'm not dealing with all the stupid little crumbs. So I've also used this on chairs, which leaves a sticky residue if they're this sticky. My other one's not that bad. But, and then I go and then I wash it with something that's a little damp and whatever and clean it up. Okay. We're also supposed to talk about food and any little food tricks. I have this for you to take home with you, and it's got the cleaning tips, not necessarily the ones I talked about, but some other really good ones. It does talk about cleaning from the top down, which makes sense. What I want to say about that is we don't clean all the way at the top. You clean from actually about your shoulder down. Everything else is considered deep cleaning and is not required of us, okay? Now, if you see something and you're like, oh, I can get it, you can take a broom, and this suggestion is on there, and use an elastic or something and get this so it sticks to the broom, stays on the broom, and then you can use the broom to help you get rid of stuff off the ceiling and the, you know how it all kind of just likes to go into the lights and whatever. You see these little dust thingies. But as a rule, we do from the shoulder down. All right. Food. How many of you fix food on a shift?
I used to do it with Ted.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kathy does it all the time. She goes and shops, and then she plans. She does a whole week's worth of food and gets it ready to go for one of our clients. Right? How much are you charging?
Not enough.
Not enough. Okay. And then you've done some too, Angela?
I've done a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Mostly what I've done is opened up cans, taken out microwave dinners or some leftovers that the family has, and I've just heated those things up
I
and
actually had to cook
yeah.
like raw meat and stuff like that.
Okay. You're very quiet, and it's
I
not
said
going to
I've
pick it up.
also had to cook raw meat.
Raw meat.
Yeah,
Okay. And was that for one of our clients or when you
Mhm.
work somewhere else?
that was with Ted.
With who?
Ted.
Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Ted. Sorry. All right. So the cooking ideas that are on here, it actually suggests you could sit down and help them plan out a menu and a shopping list. And that would be up Kathy's alley. That's what you do. Sorry, I don't do that for myself. I quit cooking about 15 years ago, and I if it can't be microwaved, or I'll heat something on the stovetop or put it in the oven if it was, well, usually if it comes from Costco and all I have to do is open it up and put it in. That's usually about me. But one thing to remember if you do fix food, and this is where kind of gets, is what you need to do in order to what to do with the leftovers, right? So when you have leftovers, it's very important that you mark it. You put on there what date that it was, so that the people coming after you could come through and clean out a fridge and know what's too old. But they don't know what's too old if we don't date it. I mean, otherwise they have to actually open it and smell. Or just go by, yes, yeah, after third day, throw it out, yes. And be aware too of packages of deli meats and stuff like that. Once you open the package, how long you have before it has to be used. So I had the ladies help me with this, because what not every house has is something for which you can label. So we now have, and I won't touch it with the other hand, some tape on something that will stick in your pocket, and you can peel it off and label it, and then you've got something. Because otherwise you're hoping that the people have something for you to label it with, right? So the ladies in scheduling made all these for you. So you can take one, and well, I've touched this one, so since I'm touching it anyway. Anyway, they put a lot of tape on it. So, and it should just fit right in your pocket. If not, it'll fit in this pocket. And that way you've got it with you, and you've got a pen on you, and you can just tear it off and put a date on whatever. So no excuses for not labeling the food, right?
Yeah, that's how I do it. I use that.
Is that what you do? Uh-huh. Very good. I know that I have gone, and I know that I have worked in homes where I've needed something to mark it with, and I've searched drawers, and I've looked all over, and I've tried to figure it out, and I can't find anything to write on there. So that's frustrating to me. I'm sure it is to you as well. Anyway, so we now have one for everybody, and for those people watching online, they're going to have to actually come in and get them. Tricky ways we get you to come into the office, right? We're always looking, how can we get you to come into the office?
Sometimes it's impossible though with the shift that we have, and then the hours that you guys are holding these meetings. We can't make it.
You're right. Right. But you could come and pick something. If you were watching this at home, you could come in sometime between 9 and 4. Call first. Now we're open till 5. It kind of depends on when the sun sets, because Gary never liked anybody to be working driving home in the dark, or still working here when it was dark and having to go out into the parking lot when it's dark and all that. He was like, let's close while the sun's still up. So anyway, so during the winter months, then we were closing at 4, but we're back to 5.
Except for Fridays.
Except for Fridays when we're 4. It's always good to call. Are you there? Will you be there for 20 more minutes? I'm on my way. Yeah, that way you can actually pick up stuff that you need. All right. Some other things they say about food. And I had never thought of this, but well, because I don't cook. It has to be in the micro. It has to be something. But it could also be fun to talk to somebody, and I'm sure you do this, Kathy, already. What are your favorite recipes? Can I use your recipes to make your fun things? What do you do, Kathy?
Well, she's on a special diet. She can't have vegetables or fruits that have skin on, for example. She can't have most seasonings. So she has a certain way that she fixes the meals and her salads, and her little dessert is like pumpkin, but she can't eat the crust. So you have to take the pumpkin out of the crust and
Wow.
put it in little baggies. It's very detailed for her. So it's really, yeah.
So you really put in a
So
lot of work.
There's a lot of work with it. It's all just fresh, and yeah.
Wow.
So that's
Well,
But
I
I do
knew that
like-
you were great before today, but now I think you're absolutely wonderful.
it is good though to listen to if they say, "Oh, that was kind of dry," or to get hints from what they like or dislike. Had too much cheese, or it was
Yeah.
And I do that too. So because she can't, for what she has to eat, I feel sorry for her. I'd hate to eat like that, but it's all she can. Her body can handle. She's very sensitive, and so
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you're amazing to put that much work into it. That kind of a shift would not work.
Joan? No. Yeah, her diet is kind of like that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's pretty detailed in certain things she can eat.
Yeah, you open up Joan's fridge and it's all,
It's all
and that's because
organized.
one of our caregivers actually helped her organize it like that. It didn't used to be that organized. So, all right. Do we have any suggestions from anybody here on cleaning or preparing food or anything like that?
Suggestions. Unless they handling raw meat to wash it. A lot of people don't wash their meat, chicken. And chicken
So
has
how do you just get
chicken
it
has
wet or how
salmonella.
do you wash
I
it?
wash it. I usually run it through with vinegar
Okay.
to get all of that yuckiness off of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you fill your sink with vinegar
I
or
fill
you
a
just
tub
you
with
fill a tub with vinegar
the
and then you put your chicken and
yeah.
other meats in there?
hmm
Wow.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
didn't know
do.
that.
But that's how I do it. I don't eat meat, period.
Ah.
I'm
Okay.
strictly just vegetarian. I do not eat meat. But for those who do eat it, that's the way how I would clean my meat. hmm
Angela.
I just remembered that there was a client, I can't even remember his name now, that I used to go fix like the Hello Fresh meals. So they would come, like the raw meat and whatever, and it would have the recipe. And it was kind of fun actually to do that, but it does take a lot of time out of the shift to cook everything from scratch. You have to cut it up, you have to clean it up, you feed it to them, you store it. But if anybody has any suggestions for cleaning off cutting boards, like where you've used raw meat, and that's yeah, so I wouldn't, that's one thing. I mean, I hot water and soap, obviously, good, but especially if
But
it's
you've got
raw,
you've
but
got
if
to
you've got to
disinfect it.
disinfect. And I also feel like some clients don't necessarily have all of the tools and the supplies, so you do the best you can with what you have, right? But if they have a sponge that's moldy and it's been sitting there for a while, you may not have time to soak it in bleach for half an hour if you've got an hour and a half shift. You just do the best you can with what you.
for the paper towel.
Well, and you put those.
Yes,
You keep those gloves on. Yeah, you keep your gloves
You
on.
keep the gloves on and using
But
paper towels
yeah, and I
instead of
love
yeah.
and the clients I think that are hardest for me are the ones that do not use disposable cleaning supplies. Like they hardly have any. They no paper towels around,
Right.
no So then you're like, okay, I've these cleaning cloths I have to use. I don't know if they're clean. Yeah, so you do the
Okay.
best with what you have. But
Well,
any suggestions on cleaning a cutting board would be welcome, because I
So-
don't even know how to do that for myself.
so one
sometimes.
thing that you can do with this when you don't have time to put it through, but so what you can do is put some soap on it and then agitate it as if it were in a washing machine and really agitate and just get everywhere and make sure you get that soap all the way in and then wash and then get the soap out with incredibly hot water. So as hot as, because you can sterilize things with really hot water, right? If it gets really hot. Might not be perfect, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Cutting boards, if they'll fit in the dishwasher, that's the best thing for them. If they don't fit in the dishwasher, that's a tough one. But
Boiling water would say the barbicide.
The
Dilute it with
barbicide.
water. It has the instructions on how much to put and how much water to put in there. Barbicide. It
Bar-
kills everything. Trust me.
no, you go like to
You go to
Sally's Beauty
Sally's.
Supply.
Yeah. mhm.
Okay, now say that again. The barbicide has what? The instructions on it?
It has the instructions.
Of how much water?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah. And
All
you
right.
can get a spray bottle and dilute it in a spray bottle, or you can mix it in a tub for your cutting board and soak it in there.
Now
Yeah.
here's the question though, because now we want to put food on it. There's things you can clean.
Okay, after you soak it,
That cause this is important.
then you have to wash it off.
Because of the chemicals.
Exactly. Then you have to wash it off, and again, you can wash it like she said, soap and water, because all the bacteria is off already.
Okay. because that is a good point. I mean, there's lots of things that will kill the germs, but
But you gotta wash
It-
pot.
but if you're going to use that to put food and something we're going to eat, then we
Right.
have to make it safe again for food. So good points. Okay, any other thoughts? All right. Go ahead and read some of these. I think they're kind of fun. Here's another one about disinfecting the sponges. It's do it in the microwave.
Yeah,
Most everyone has a microwave, and that will get it really hot. So
They usually say 30 seconds. I think a minute.
30 seconds, yeah. If your sponge falls apart when you take it out, then you left it in too long.
That's what they
But
say,
make
30
make sure the sponge is wet, because microwaves actually use with it's the water in the food that helps
I
it
don't
to
even use the sponges anyways. You know,
yeah.
I don't like that.
Yep. According to Allison, take one microbiology class and you'll never use them. But I've tried a couple of times to actually make this straight, and I can see now that it's not straight. So I should have had Ashley come down here. I bet she's good at doing that. All right, that is everything I have planned for today. Let's do a drawing. Will you get me the little thing in there? I appreciate the reason we're trying to get people to come at noon is because that's when we have our live presenter. And when we only have 2 or 3 people here for his live presentation, that just seems, I don't know, doesn't seem very nice, even though I know a lot of people come later.
Presenter.
Yeah. So, all right, Garna, I'll let you choose a name here. Because we know you wouldn't automatically just choose your own.
Okay, oh, Angela.
Angela, you're okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, I will put yours back in.
Okay.
Secretly.
Oh my, somebody, Kathy,
Oh,
did you bend yours on purpose?
Yeah, that's cool. All right. All right. Now that it's down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you.
Oh my goodness.
I only see 4 in there. Somebody didn't put one in.
Does anybody else want to draw that?
Draw yourself.
Andy.
Andy. Oh, she's gonna love it. Okay, so she gets our $10 swig.
Nice.
And if you don't want the swig, go talk upstairs. You can get into something else. All right. Thanks for coming. Appreciate that. There's some very healthy donuts upstairs. I took all the calories out of them before I put them upstairs.
You and this. Something that's
And I bought something that was already pre-packed or already put in the box, so I wasn't the one putting them in. So I've been really trying to keep my germs to myself.
Wow. Well, thank you, Diane.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diane.
You guys all have a great day.
Oh, here it is.